Welcome to Coasting with Giants, a podcast all about the roller coaster enthusiast hobby and the people that are part of the community. Come along with me, Thad the theme park giant, as I interview some of my friends that I've met along the way in this crazy hobby. Hey there, Giant fans of fun. It's Thad the theme park giant, and this is part 2 of episode 4 of Coasting with Giants, a podcast all about the coaster enthusiast hobby, and more importantly, the people in it. I interview my friends that I've made through decades of being in the coaster hobby, coaster enthusiast hobby. So I think there's a lot of interesting people, a lot of interesting stories, and just fun coaster chat in general, and other theme parks if you're into that stuff, because we've been all over the world and we like to talk about them. This episode, part 2 of my interview with my friend Dainan. We went so long, I split it into 2 pieces. I think the second part, a lot of people are going to be interested in. We get into some of his favorite parks from around the world, some of his more recent trips that he's done. He went to Dubai about a month ago, so we talked pretty in depth about that. And then the final segment, we talk about Epic Universe. Dainan attended a couple previews a couple weeks back now. I kind of sat on some of this because I didn't want to release too much Epic stuff before like the media day previews, just because there's a lot of like weird embargoes and things going on, and I didn't want to get in any trouble. But I think you'll like hearing what he has to say about the park. He kept it spoiler free also, so if you're trying to avoid spoilers, you can listen to this and you'll learn about the areas and the rides and whatever, but he was very good about not spoiling anything. So yeah, enough about that. Let's get into the actual conversation. All right, welcome back to Coasting with Giants. I'm here with my friend Dainan. We're talking about
everything.
Roller coasters and Windermere, Florida.
And just Orlando.
Just random things.
Food and roller coasters and traffic patterns.
Yeah, traffic, I-4 traffic. Yeah. So yeah, if this is the podcast. If you're going to move to Orlando,
yes, but now we're going to talk about theme parks.
Yes, now we're going to talk about some of Dainan's favorite parks.
Ooh,
and it can be from anywhere around the world. I know you've been to a lot of places.
So my favorite theme park in the world is Phantasialand in Germany. Phantasialand. I've heard it pronounced both.
I always say Phantasialand, and then I feel like everyone else says Phantasialand.
I was told Phantasialand.
I saw a commercial and they said that. So I guess.
So I went for the first time when I was 18 when Black Mamba was new.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it still had like the old stuff in the park.
Yeah.
And then I went back in 21 on that big trip I did, and it was like a brand new park.
Okay.
When I first went to Phantasialand, I decided it was my favorite theme park in Europe. Because up until then, Tokyo Disney Sea was my favorite theme park in the world.
That's my number one.
And then when I was walking around Phantasialand, I looked at my friends and said, I like this more than Disney Sea. Yeah.
I mean, it's
and I'm going to be honest.
It's the only non-Disney park that would give my number one like a run.
So I like Silver Dollar City.
I do love Silver Dollar City.
I kind of keep the Disney and Universal parks in their own category.
They are in their own category.
But like Silver Dollar City is my favorite theme park in the States.
Yeah, it's so cool because it feels like an amusement park, but a theme, like, I don't know how to describe it. Because there's no Silver Dollar City. Like,
magic.
It's hard to describe.
Here's my favorite way to describe Silver Dollar City when people try to compare it to Dollywood who have never been to Silver Dollar City. Bear with me here. I call Silver Dollar City Inside Out Dollywood.
Okay.
Because Dollywood's in the valley.
Yep.
Where Silver Dollar City is on the mountaintop.
Yeah.
Literally inside out Dollywood.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because Dollywood, you come in and you kind of go up.
Yeah, in all directions. Or Dollywood, Silver Dollar City.
You're at the top of the mountain. Because that walk out at the end of the day can be brutal.
And the view from those coasters.
Oh.
Wildfire and Powder Keg have some of the best views.
Well, my friend Joe and I were talking about, I think Wildfire is the most beautiful.
And it's it's interesting where the B&M looping coaster is like the most coaster in the park.
Yeah.
Because the park is cool.
And like we went opening year for Wildfire.
Okay.
Because I was like so excited about it. And like I remember being like, oh, it was fine, but like the view is incredible. Powder keg.
Powder keg is awesome. It's so funky.
You know, that is funny. I think I like Thunderation more than Wildfire even.
Yes.
Like
that is not an opinion. That is a fact. I love Thunderation.
I really do. Yeah, I never thought of that, but Wildfire is like.
But Wildfire is good.
It's a fine ride.
It's not bad.
Absolutely. Most parks, it's probably a top 3
And
or
I feel
4.
like a lot of enthusiasts have this, like, they have to say something's bad if it's not the best. But
that's very true.
Like, can I just like a ride?
Like,
if I ride something, people are like, well, this one's better. I'm like, okay, cool, but I like this.
So I think you're like me, where we're not the jaded.
I kind of am.
I get that.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of am.
I rode Tron for the first time a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, that's a fun ride. You know, and then like some of my friends come that aren't. And they're like, Tron was incredible, and I'm like, yeah. Did you ride Guardians? Like,
my very first ride on Tron, I kind of, like, my friend and I gave each other the same stank face of, this is what everybody's obsessed with. But the more I rode it, the more I liked it.
I like it more and more. Yeah. It's short, but like.
But like
that always annoys me too when people harp on the short.
It's just as long as Rock and Roller Coaster.
Thank you.
They're exactly the same.
Thank you. I was arguing with guys in the Rock and Roller Coaster line a couple weeks ago because my sister and I were testing the single rider lines.
Yeah.
And that could tell they were like park nerds or whatever, and like, they were saying something about Tron, and like, Tron's just so short. This is such a better ride, and this and that. And I said, you know, it's only 10 seconds longer. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
I said, yeah. This is a minute and a half, and Tron's like 1:19 or something.
Yeah.
And then the guy was trying. He's like, well, but this goes upside down, and I'm like,
that doesn't make it better.
That tells me you're not really a coaster.
I actually like
person,
Tron. Do I like Tron more than Coaster? Probably.
I do. Yeah.
Probably. I probably like Tron more than Coaster.
I like Tron more. But yeah, it's.
Every time I ride Rock and Roller Coaster, I'm just sad it's not Space Mountain in Paris. I love Space Mountain in Paris.
It's really fun.
And I've ridden it with both trains. I've ridden original, and I've ridden
the original train, and I still liked it.
I used to call it Space Ninja.
Because I had one really good ride, and then one that beat the hell out of me.
It beat the hell out of me, but I loved it.
I still liked it.
It beat the hell out of me, and I said, thank you.
Oh, my God. We're off track again.
Sorry. Hey, it was theme park. Fantasyland. But Fantasyland is my favorite theme park in the world. But none of the coasters are even like near my favorite for anything.
I love Terran.
So I really enjoy Terran.
Okay.
My problem was I rode Velocicoaster before I rode it.
That's it.
I liked it a lot.
I rode Terran the year it opened, and I haven't been back.
I also rode Fly before it really hit the internet and how people loved it. Fly is friggin' awesome. It hurts. It hurt my shoulders.
So good.
But also it's a flying coaster with airtime. And it's gorgeous.
Oh.
But I'm going to say
Fantasyland, for a park with thrill rides, and I haven't been to Epic yet, we will be talking about Epic. But Fantasyland is head and shoulders the best theming I've ever seen outside of a Disney or Universal park.
Yes.
Period. And then you put thrill rides, their Toy Story Mania, like chocolate.
Mouse chocolate.
Oh, it's better than Mania. It's better than Mania.
The ride itself is, yes, but the shooting, like the I don't know what they call it. I guess like the gun.
Yeah.
I think that works better at Mania.
Okay.
Like the gun is better at Mania, but the dark ride itself is better.
Yeah, I feel like you get that. There's like that resistance.
Yeah.
You feel that pop. That's very inside baseball.
I will say I think the best coaster at Fantasyland is Winja's.
I like Winja's.
I think Winja's is the best coaster, the Mauer spinner.
Yeah,
I think it's the best from there. I'm sorry.
It's 2 spinning coasters.
Fear and Force.
They do some
funky stuff.
Very weird things that you're not expecting.
And we're not going to spoil it here.
Nope.
But it's cool.
Do not watch a video on them. Be surprised
I don't think you'll understand if you watch a video.
Especially the end thing. But like...
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool ride, and like just that building they put it in, like
Woostown.
you can like stand in there and just watch it.
I also got
around.
to ride Temple of the Nighthawk when it was Temple of the Nighthawk. Now I think it's Crazy Bats.
I forgot about that ride.
Well, did you get to ride the Hollywood Tour, the boat ride underneath it? That was horrible. So there was a boat ride underneath this.
Yes.
The Hollywood Tour. It was supposed to go
I forgot about that.
It's abandoned. It's just sitting there abandoned under Temple of the Nighthawk, or whatever the coaster is called now. So there is an abandoned dark ride underneath that coaster, and that dark ride was fairly freaky, so...
I forgot about that.
Explore. Let's go to Germany and explore this dark ride.
Oh my god. I love Phantasialand.
Let's do it.
Oh, Phantasialand.
I love Phantasialand.
So
I love Efteling.
Yep.
The Efteling is...
Efteling is in Netherlands.
Another park that is not a coaster park, but like it has coast. My favorite ride in that park is the Flying Dutchman, which is their Kumbak water coaster.
That is
awesome.
The theming on that is so crazy.
And Baron is cute. Love the theming.
Baron's it's a cool ride. That was brand
Baron.
new the year I went. Very cool theming. I love that bell that rings.
Yeah.
Like you can hear it like across the park. You always know when a park's about to drop.
George and the Dragon was closed for a refurb when I was there.
Oh, that was a cool ride. I liked that.
It looked cute.
Dueling little GCIs with the dragon at the end. It was super cool.
I loved the dark ride Dream Flight.
Yes.
That was cool. I knew nothing about it.
I didn't know anything about it. And then our friend AJ had grown up. He's been to Efteling because he lives there.
I just kind of did the same thing with the Dubai
He said the
park.
first thing. So we got there the one night and we got a couple hours in the park. And then we had a full day the next day. And that morning we got early entry. We stayed at the resort.
What did you say? Did you stay in the
older...
We stayed in one of the forest cottages.
The one that looks like it's like floating or whatever.
We stayed in one of the cottages in the forest.
I don't think those were there when I went.
I think
it was just the...
Oh, I think they've been there a while.
Maybe. Okay. Yeah, we stayed at the hotel, and we did our early entry, and he's like, there's a ride we need to get in line for, basically, during early entry, and it was Dream Flight. And we're like, this is just a dark ride.
I went a good queue for it.
Crazy good dark ride. And the part where you're like...
See, my first ride...
and you're like going down the helix, I'm like, oh my god, I would never have expected any of that.
It was such a good
then
ride.
The line was huge the rest of the day, so I was like, thank God AJ told us that.
We did Max and Moritz first because the Mach powered coaster that replaced the Intamin bobsled.
Oh, okay.
But we knew that it was one train on both, so we're like, we got to do it first, and then it never had a line. And then we did
because we did the bobsled.
Yeah, and then we did Fata Morgana, the Sinbad boat ride. Was it Sinbad? It was the Arabian boat ride.
Was that
Well, there's a boat ride there.
Oh, yeah. It has like the laser. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, we were the only people on the ride.
Yes. That's a really cool... They did some cool effects on that thing. Yes.
And then, I went to actual Arabia.
Right.
I just got back from a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about that?
We can, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I just went to Dubai.
I just got back from Dubai a month ago.
Yeah.
I was there for 9 days, and we did every single theme park and as many malls as we could that had roller coasters.
We still didn't get all.
Oh my god, we went to 9 malls.
And you seemed lost in a lot of the malls based on some of the.
There
updates.
was that video clip I took of my friend and I trying to find Storm.
Yes.
Where there was a sign. There were 2 signs that said
roller coaster. It's
like,
which way to go both ways. That's right. How many parks?
I think it was 9.
Yeah, they have a lot.
They
have
learned
invested
a lot.
So much.
We learned a lot on that trip
over there.
So my friends planned it, and I had some drama with my passport. I didn't know until 2 days before I was going on this trip.
Oh.
And then I almost backed out. I didn't actually my anxieties got the best of me. Like in the airport, I was like, I'm not getting on that plane. I'm not going. Like I wanted nothing to do with it. And then once I was on the plane and we're in the air, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Well, I don't know.
Huh.
But I didn't even know our itinerary. I kind of let my friends plan everything.
That's how my Europe trip kind of was when we did our own, because my Aussie friend and my Dutch friend planned it basically.
Yeah.
And I read and whatever, but I kept things a secret, like Belvarde. I didn't look up anything. So I was just kind of along for the ride.
I did ride the only wooden coaster in the UAE.
Oh.
At Real Madrid World, which used to be Bollywood Studios.
Oh, okay.
They had that wooden coaster that was abandoned for years. It opened a couple months ago. It's fun. It's cute. Right. It has a very short train, and they staple you. I did not know I can get 2 clicks on those tiny Millennium flyers, but they forced an extra click on me, and I went, huh.
Oh, wow.
Now I know.
Yeah, that would be...
It was
Because I know I
very
used to
tight.
get... One was always kind
Well,
of a
because I always
struggle
just
back
get
in
the
the
one,
day.
and they don't
and
care.
then you're fine.
But they forced the second, and I went, I didn't know I can get more clicks.
Cool.
Motion Gate was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
It reminded me as if Universal Studios and Park Warner Madrid was one park.
Okay.
And I actually enjoy Park Warner Madrid.
See, now I haven't been to Spain. I've
I
unfortunately...
enjoy Park Warner Madrid.
I've heard...
That's a sentence.
I've
That's a
heard
statement.
good stuff. I don't know.
The park is rough, but it was a fun park. But Motion Gate, the thing we encountered in the Dubai parks and Abu Dhabi was school groups.
Oh, that's right.
It was
You said that.
unruly, and they don't discipline the kids because of all the strict laws they have. Their idea is like kids be kids. Then the park employees are not allowed to enforce things on kids.
Really?
So we were getting cut in line and everything. And they're like, yeah, we can't do anything about their kids.
Wow.
At Warner Brothers, at the end of the trip, we kind of got in a situation where we got swarmed by these kids, and I wouldn't let them jump the line, and they had their cameras in my face, and they're like taunting us, and I went, I'm not doing this for an hour because I had no problem.
Right.
You're not getting past me. You're an idiot, and they're fighting. Why are you fighting with me? You're literally a child. But I was like, I'm not doing this. I went to the greeter to complain.
They don't understand you're from Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And you're not going to put up with that.
And I went to the greeter and I'm like, yo, we're going to come back. Because I originally wasn't going to get in line. He goes, oh, go. I'm like, okay, we'll come back. We'll do it. I'm like, we're leaving because these school groups are out of control. And they're line cutting. And there were other people who were getting annoyed. And he was like, how many do you have? We're like, 4. And he just walked us up to the grouper. And I even said it is there anything I used to work at theme parks and I've kicked school groups out of lines for cutting.
Sure.
And he said because they're children we're not allowed to do that. I'm like, that's insane. Also graffiti everywhere and and Motion Gate they were all just graffitiing and everything.
You said they're just waiting in line and they're all just
you can't even chew gum in this country, but you can graffiti. And then we had at one of the rides, the girl tapped my friend on the shoulder and said, "Excuse me, do you have a marker so I can write on the wall?" And my friend Lauren was like, "No." And then the other girl goes, "Oh, I have one." Like, "Oh my god, thank you." And they're just writing on the wall. I'm like, "What is happening?" And it gave me it gave me Great Adventure in the '90s vibes. Because with the gum wall and the graffiti everywhere, we got better. I will admit it, but it was oh my god, I feel like I'm in line for Viper at Great Adventure again.
God, I feel like every time I'm at Great Adventure,
I will never forget. Viper was
teens cutting lines. It's so bad. Ugh.
Viper at Great Adventure. I don't know if did you ever get to ride it? No. Viper, horrible Togo coaster.
Yes.
Beautifully themed queue. And then, right towards the end where you went up the stairs, which was actually a part of the building, which is El Toro Station now, the graffiti, and they had the gum wall. So you had this beautifully themed queue and then the gum wall right there. But I'll never forget as a kid, I was 8. And I'm in line for Viper, and I just saw 2 cigarettes stuck into the gum wall. I'm like, yeah, that's Great Adventure in the 90s. That was Premier Six Flags right there.
I don't think I'd thought of Viper
No, that's okay. Fun. You want to know a fun fact?
At least a decade.
That is the first coaster I ever filmed a POV on. I was 14 and they let me. And I uploaded it onto my YouTube channel years later because it was very embarrassing.
Wow.
I put music over it. I was like, here's a Viper POV.
Didn't it have the heart line?
Yeah, the heart line was the only smooth part.
And I remember the rings.
We went through,
the rings
were cool. We went through a rough patch because I'm going to flex a little. I opened Batman and Robin the Chiller.
Oh, wow.
My twin brother and I were one of the many sets of twins to cut the ribbon, and we're on the second launch. That's another thing I found out later in life that people knew. I also had a Chiller memorial video on my YouTube channel.
I remember you shared that one time on Facebook.
Every once in a while, people will be like, "Oh, I met someone I'm friends with now. His name's Austin, Amusement Insiders on YouTube." He a very successful channel, and he does great. But he was a fan of Northeast Coasters when he was a kid, and it's funny because I'll go back sometimes just read through the comments because I'm feeling nostalgia, and there's him
and you'll see their name
as a kid, and that is so funny. But the first time I met him, he found out I was from the Northeast, and he's like, "Oh, I need to show you this really cool video. I was obsessed with it as a kid."
Oh, no
And he pulled up
way.
my own video. And I was like, and I was with my other friend who introduced us. I'm like, are you pranking me right now?
That's so weird.
And he had no idea he was going to do that. He's like, what? Like, that's me.
That's weird.
But yeah, no, Chiller was also super painful. I'm sure
Yeah.
Mr. Freeze was too with the shoulder harnesses.
Yeah.
Chiller was horrible.
Yeah. Freeze was really bad.
Chiller
with the
was absolutely horrendous. And then I got lap bars and it was great.
That's one of those lost credits that haunts me. I've
Chiller.
always heard such good things about it. But
I think Freeze is better. Like, by
really?
a lot. I much prefer Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
Sorry, my Great Adventure people get really mad at me when I say this.
Yeah.
I actually, when I was at Six Flags St. Louis in April, I took a video of Mr. Freeze and I said, I'm so happy this ride still exists and it's so much better than Chiller. And 3 of my friends who worked at Chiller came in and got really mad at me in the comments.
That's awesome. Are they still running it backwards?
St. Louis, yes.
Yeah. That
Texas,
is so awesome.
Texas does both.
Oh, do they?
Which was really neat because I had never ridden Freeze forward until I went to
Oh.
Texas for a roller coaster rodeo in June.
And that's how it always
which was
was.
this event at Fiesta, Texas, which was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
We got VIP access. So we got front of line for all the park rides.
Yep.
We got ERT, multiple different ERTs, backstage tours. We got to go up to the quarry wall.
Well, Fiesta is about as
It was-
coaster nerd friendly
it was
as
amazing.
a park's gonna
It was
get.
probably my favorite
just
coaster
'cause
event.
Who runs the
Yeah.
park? So
And but you know, it was I forgot what I was saying about roller coaster rodeo. Why I brought it up.
we're talking about Freeze.
Oh yeah. So on that trip we did Six Flags over Texas afterwards, and they were running both trains, one forward, one backwards, and riding it forward for the first time reminded me
weird.
so much of Chiller.
Yeah.
It was the first. Freeze has always stood on its own to me because I've only ever ridden it backwards. But riding it, both. But riding it with the forward launch, I was like, oh, that was Chiller. That reminded me of Chiller.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've done the forward launch now.
Backwards
I'd be
is so,
curious.
but doing it back to
Backwards
back,
is so good.
doing it back to back just showed how much better backwards is.
I just love that the magnets pull you, like you feel it.
Yeah, going
You're
forward,
like
you go-
almost 200 feet in the air, staring straight down,
And it
and,
just
your
drops.
momentum is stopped, and you still feel slowly getting pulled
Yeah.
up by those magnets. I love that feeling.
So back to Dubai.
Yes.
The Dubai parks are interesting. So Motion Gate I loved. I did not expect to love the DreamWorks area as much as I did.
Okay.
Or the fact that the Shrek dark ride would be one of my favorite dark rides of all times, and I don't even like Shrek.
Yeah. I didn't know there was a Shrek.
Yeah,
dark ride.
it's themed to because it takes place after all the movies.
Okay.
But it's Shrek and Fiona telling the story of how they fell in love,
Okay.
but in puppet form. So then you go through and it's the entire storytelling of the first movie, but they're all puppets. But it works.
Really?
Yeah, the IPs in this park are cool.
Interesting.
Ghostbusters Dark Ride.
Oh, I would.
Yeah, that was awesome. The How to Train Your Dragon.
I would love if Rip Ride Rocket.
I think it's happening.
And that's so crazy to me. Like, I don't read rumors
Well-
and stuff. And one of my friends, he lives in Maitland or Melbourne.
Okay.
Melbourne. But he wrote me a couple months ago when Rip Ride was he's like, what do you think's going to happen? And I said, I have no idea.
We
I
are
said,
definitely
but to me,
it's definitely going to be an
I see that
intimate.
old firehouse.
It's definitely going to be an intimate launch coaster.
And I think Ghostbusters is really big again.
There's the
HHN
rumor
is
that it's going to be
huge.
white tracked.
Yep.
Ghostbusters
And like,
themed. So it's
how
probably gonna be
cool
straight
would an
themed to
Ecto
Frozen.
1 train look on a roller coaster? Like, come on. It just makes too much sense.
I
And then
love
I
it.
keep hearing these rumors that that's what they're maybe thinking of. And I'm like, wow. That
We'll find out when it's announced.
Because like I do not read rumors, so when my friend
You also
said,
can't really trust
he's like,
rumors
"Well, that's
all the
what
time.
that's actually what they're saying," and I'm like, "Oh, really?
is what that
That's
is.
kind of cool that my dream ride." I hope so.
And that'll be themed to Frozen Kingdom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because I haven't watched the new.
I liked it.
I'm an original.
I know.
Like I love.
I actually,
the original
I mean, I prefer
Ghostbusters.
the original, but I actually liked the new
I heard
ones.
they're
They're
good.
fun.
I just don't watch movies anymore. But
That's fair.
I should have watched them for
That's
HHN, so I knew what the house was. But
Fair.
I mean, at the same time, it's still Ghostbusters, and there's a bunch of little marshmallow men.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, we got there.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the How to Train Your Dragon
Mm-hmm.
mock family suspended coaster. That's just like Arthur at Europa Park.
Yes.
Fantastic. Absolutely loved it. Didn't love waiting an hour for it because it was running 3 vehicles
Oh God.
and surrounded by school groups using the flash on their phone for some reason the whole time.
We probably waited 45 to 60 minutes each time we did Arthur when I was at Europa.
I think I waited like 20 minutes for Arthur at the most.
It was I mean,
But
it was brand new that year
fair.
too. But like the lines move
And
so fast. at
They have a
Europa.
Gerslar Infinity launch coaster in the park
Okay.
that's completely indoors and themed to Madagascar, and it's themed to being at a circus. I don't know why, but it was my favorite coaster in the park. It was so good. We had so much fun.
It's like such random.
I know.
I love the random IP or just a random
Yeah.
dark ride like that. Like the one that always gets me that now I really want to see. Eric Johnson always talks about the Sesame Street Sally dark ride.
At Portaventura?
Yeah,
That was so good.
I heard it is
I
awesome.
waited an hour for it.
I heard it's amazing.
I loved it. I loved it so much. It was so fun. I just wish it wasn't a shooting dark ride.
Right.
Like it could have been a standalone, but it was great. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was trackless either.
And then
I saw the vehicle
IAPA,
dispatch. I went,
like
what?
they had like a model
Yeah.
of the ride through, and like just looking at that, I was like, and I was with Eric, and he was like, "Oh, this ride's so great!" Like,
We bought Express at Portaventura, but it didn't work on that, and that was okay.
okay.
We waited for it. It was fine.
that makes sense. Yeah, yeah.
Portaventura is one of those parks that's absolutely gorgeous and also awful.
I've heard that.
I wanted to love it so much more than I did.
Well, Furious Baco
I rode
is
it.
a very famous rough,
I rode Furious
rough
Baco.
ride.
And halfway through the ride, I looked at my friend and I said, as I'm bouncing around, bashing around, I say, gee, I wonder why Intimate didn't sell any more of these after just bouncing to death.
When I've heard the outside seats, especially,
I sat in
it's
the
just,
outside
like,
seat.
Brutal. No one I've talked to is
So-
like,
I
Everyone
rode
says it's
Furious
brutal.
Baco, and because I'm bigger, we looked at whatever seatbelt was the longest. And my friends who I was with, we all worked at King de Ka. So we're, it's the same restraint. So
Yep.
my friend Jimmy goes, I'll get you in. And he did. And then he goes, you're good. And then I realized, wait, no, I'm in an outside seat. I didn't want the outside seat. He sat down and goes, it sucks for
too
you.
late.
And it was bouncy terribleness.
Because how fast is that?
Too fast.
Isn't it like 70?
I also have a very, very unpopular opinion.
Oh, I like
So
those.
I rode King de Ka on its very opening day. I waited 4 hours in the station through multiple
Okay.
downtimes, but I rode it. I've ridden the original Top Thrill Dragster. I like Red Force better than both.
Oh,
I'm not a launch person, never have been.
okay.
I prefer the restraints, and I prefer the straight drop than the spiral.
I've never cared for the spirals.
I liked Red Force better
whatever,
than Ka and
yeah.
Dragster, and I will be canceled now. Thank you.
Because isn't Red Force only like 200?
It's 380
Oh, it is?
or something.
Oh,
yeah,
I didn't
no, it's
know it
up
was that
there.
big.
It's the tallest coaster in Europe.
Oh, okay.
I think it's the tallest coaster operating right now.
I had no
the
idea
world.
it was that. Oh, yeah, because
Yeah,
Top Thrill 2 is
I think
not
it breaks 100 miles per
great.
hour.
Wow.
I don't remember the exact stats. I'm no longer a teenager who cares about statistics.
That's how I get to.
So I'm like, I know
People
what the
start throwing some new companies and stuff around. I'm like, I don't even know.
it's not the fastest because Formula Rossa still exists.
Yes.
And Formula Rossa, I watched it launch over and over, and it does not sway, which weirded me out because Kai used to shake,
Yeah.
and it was just stiff. It's like, how is this happening?
That
It's also a very smooth launch.
and just understanding engineering at a very basic level.
Yeah.
I feel like there should be some sway
probably a
on
little bit that you didn't see.
140
Yeah.
mile an hour ride.
Real talk though, the best coaster, Flying Aces.
Yeah.
The queue is beautiful, and it's like a fuller version of Skyrush.
Yeah.
It was amazing. I'm low key obsessed with that.
So I
ride.
love Skyrush.
So do I.
Skyrush is at Hershey Park, Intamin Hyper,
Sorry, we jumped over to Abu Dhabi to Ferrari World.
and I've heard Flying Aces is like
Flying
a better
Aces was
Skyrush.
awesome.
'Cause
I rode it 4 times.
how many inversions?
Flying Aces?
Just the one?
They have the one corkscrew. They say
Yeah.
the non-inverting loop is
Because
non-inverting,
it's kind of like
but you kind of
Rip
invert
Ride
in
Rocket.
and out of
It's
it.
kind of like Rip Ride Rocket. They say
Yeah.
it's not an inversion, but I'm like,
You're definitely upside down twice.
there's no way we can go from the inside of a loop to the outside of a loop
yeah.
and not invert at
And
some point.
what's interesting about Flying Aces is that it's very spread out. So there's a lot of swoopiness,
Okay.
but then the very intense airtime hills, and then
Yep.
it's a spread out Skyrush.
Okay.
And It was not a thigh crush. But it kind of was because I'm big, so I had to be stapled.
That's the thing. Like, I've heard the new restraints are amazing on Skyrush.
They're still the old restraints on Flying Aces.
That's because Hershey just changed them last year.
And when I rode Velocicoaster for the first time, my first thought was, why are these not on Skyrush?
Yes, I thought that too.
That was my first thought.
That would be.
I also referred to Velocicoaster as Diet Skyrush
I could
when
see
it first
that.
opened.
God, can you imagine a wing seat with those Velocicoaster?
You'd have to retheme the whole ride. You'd have to spread things apart.
Yeah. See, I got to ride Skyrush the year it opened too. So
when I rode Skyrush when it was brand new,
lift hill,
it was the coolest thing I'd ever done. I was obsessed
that
with
drop. I don't know if I've ever actually been that scared on a first drop. It caught me so off guard.
What's funny about this is, to this day, Skyrush is the only coaster that's legit scared me. My first ride.
Yes.
Not the first drop though.
Because
it was the twisting air time towards the end where I felt like I was being flung out of the train, that I actually panicked trying to grab my restraint and went, whoa, what am I doing?
For me, it was because that first year, that lift hill was like 20 miles an hour or something.
Flying Aces still runs like that.
Just threw you over the top. And I mean, from the second you went over the crest, you were out of your seat. And I just remember falling that first time, like, I have never felt like this on a roller coaster.
It was way more than Hershey bargained for,
yes.
which is why Candemonium was built.
Well, it was so intense that first year. Like, we were there with TPR. The park president comes and talks to us at lunch, and he's all excited. And he's like, what'd you guys think of Skyrush? And most of us were like, thigh crush.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people did not enjoy it. During our ERT, it was like half full trains. People weren't even like riding more than like 2-3 times because
it hurt.
My thighs hurt.
That's how I felt on Still Vengeance. It's too much for me.
Yes, I get the same way.
I see why people love Still Vengeance, and I love Still Vengeance.
Yep.
But I can only ride it a couple times because usually, after my last time I rode it, the last quarter I just held the restraint to keep myself still.
I have to.
Because it's just too much for me.
My last time I rode it.
But I can ride Magnum over and over, no problem. It's my favorite coaster there.
Last time I rode it, we're pulling out of the station. I realized I didn't have my strap on my glasses. And I'm like going up the lift hill, and I look at my friend. I'm with my friend Keith and like a bunch of other people, but I'm like, I can't get because it was in my pocket.
You're holding it.
And I'm like, so I had to hold my glasses on Steel Vengeance like this, hoping I wouldn't just like crush them.
Oh no.
And then the worst part was the second half of the ride. Usually I will hold the straps.
You just flop around.
And I'm just like, hoping I don't break or lose my glasses, and my thighs are just getting destroyed. But like, I couldn't believe the ride op missed because they're usually on top of everything on that.
They're also on top of efficiency, so they might lose that.
They're so fast on that. That RMCs are the worst for loading, and that thing just
cranks them
churns them out. It's the only one that can have 3 trains, basically.
I mean, I've seen Twisted Colossus. They can hustle sometimes.
It's such a long ride that helps them, but you see, I haven't been there since.
And then SeaWorld Abu Dhabi.
That's what I want to.
SeaWorld Abu Dhabi was gorgeous.
He posts pictures of his trip, and like, I've seen a lot of the Dubai parks. I've had plenty of friends that have been over there, but no one has been to SeaWorld, and you were posting pictures of it.
They consider it
incredible.
They consider it SeaWorld 2.0.
Yeah.
So my friend I was with used to work at SeaWorld. His supervisor is now the park VP. Mm-hmm. He actually, I didn't take pictures of it or anything, but we got a full backstage tour. We even got to go to the top of the big tank, and they kept Manta open a little bit extra for us because we wanted to ride it. He goes, I'll make sure you get on it. Okay, before I got out by the park, Manta, awesome.
Yeah.
I was asked how to describe Manta, and after I got back from Dubai, I hadn't even gone to work yet. But my first day off, like I was back, my partner had a day off. I'm like, let's go to Universal. I want to ride Velocicoaster for science. Manta at SeaWorld Abu Dhabi is if Cheetah Hunt was Velocicoaster. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Where it's like the spread out Cheetah Hunt Blitz, but it's Velocicoaster elements.
Yep.
It's a really good ride.
Is it intimate?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the park is gorgeous.
Oh,
the park is stunning. It is super immersive.
The shot of that aquarium you had.
It is so immersive.
It's like,
And very
30
educational
feet
based.
tall. I mean, it's
80.
oh my
The
god.
aquarium's 80 feet deep.
Yeah, like the pictures, I'm sure don't do it justice, but
No.
I was like literally
Floored.
jaw drop, like
Floored.
looking
It
through.
is-
I looked through every single one of those pictures on that,
It
and
was-
like that park looks incredible.
And then I went to SeaWorld Orlando, and I was like, you saw that post.
yes.
I want to go to SeaWorld Abu Dhabi.
Yep.
Got SeaWorld at home.
Well, you had
SeaWorld
like
at
a
home.
really bad day there too.
Oh, it's such a
Is
bad
that-
day.
you were trying to get like the rewards or whatever on
was
a
such a
Sunday.
bad day at
yes,
SeaWorld.
that's right.
And then I went back the next day.
Yes.
And it was empty because my partner hadn't ridden Penguin Trek yet.
I mean, the number one rule: you never go to SeaWorld on a weekend.
We only went to get the rewards.
I never
so
care
dumb.
about that stuff.
I
but-
didn't care. My friends wanted to go. I had nothing else to do. And I was like,
Yeah.
I haven't been to SeaWorld yet this year. I'll go. I also haven't been to Busch Gardens yet this year.
Yeah, I haven't. Oh, I went January 2nd, so I guess.
Seasons don't
It
also
counts.
exist in Orlando. Like, there's no
Very
theme park
true.
season here in Florida.
No,
it's
it just never
we're year
ends.
round, so it just keep going.
That's what I was talking to one of my friends on the show about that, where in Iowa it was always funny because I'd have to start, I'd always gain weight during winter. And then it was like, by about March, I'd be like, oh, I need to lose like 30 or 40 pounds here before May, get for coaster season.
Yeah.
And it's like some of my friends up north are getting all excited right now because like parks are starting to open. I got
that's
some
so
friends
quaint.
trying to plan like a King's Dominion,
That's so
like
cute.
Busch Gardens weekend, and I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot what it's like to get
After-
excited that the
after a
parks
while,
are
you
opening.
kinda forget.
Yeah,
And then I'm very grateful.
and then especially me where I lived in. I mean, Adventureland was so bad for so many years, and that was
I've
my
been
local
once,
park.
and I
now
loved
it's
it.
actually really nice.
I went in 2019 and loved that park.
Great, yeah. They
Had the best
From
time.
about-
And I rode Dragon.
from about 2014 on.
Okay.
That park has just gone up and up and up. They've
I'm
done
also
a lot.
grateful I
They
got
put the
on the
water
Dragon.
park in, and they started to make money, and they invested really well. And then Palace bought them, who
Yep.
owns
And now Hershend.
yes, and then Hershend just bought
God.
them, which I'm curious
Palace
about.
needed that. Palace was in rough shape.
Probably, yeah. I mean, but
Yeah.
Palace had done some nice things at Adventureland before I left, even. But yeah, like just being in that coaster desert, basically for my entire adult life, and then I come here and it's like every day I can go ride amazing rides.
I don't go to the parks nearly as often as I used to.
You still go a lot. I feel like
You think that?
I do.
We're at the time of the year where I go to the parks more. We're about to get to the part where the year where I don't.
Gets pretty hot.
Yeah, it gets hot and busy.
It's
Um,
so busy.
but I've done
right
a lot
now.
of parks this month.
The weather's been great,
Yeah,
but the
I had friends in town,
crowds
and
have
then
sucked.
but I had friends in town, so I did a lot of the parks over and over.
Yep.
And something epic.
Yeah.
Yeah, some epic stuff happened.
That's funny. I was
so-
just gonna
Segue
say
into
let's
that?
take our last break here,
Okay.
and then we're gonna talk a little about Epic, and then we'll
little
probably
bit.
wap up. Yeah, we can't.
We can't really.
I know
don't-
you can't say too much.
Yeah, and
then
I think it'd be rude to say too much.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because I'm torn on that, and we'll talk more
We'll talk in a
about
minute.
what I've got here. But
Ooh,
yeah, so
okay.
all right, we'll be right back.
Cool.
And welcome back to Coasting with Giants. Gonna wrap up our very long interview with Dainan.
I think this has been going on for hours now.
But thanks for watching. If you're still here, this will definitely be a two-parter.
Yeah.
But I think this last segment, a lot of people are going to be pretty interested in if you're in the theme park community, because I don't know if you've heard, but there's a pretty big thing going on in Orlando
There's
right
a little
now.
something happening here in town.
The last, 5 years or so, there's been this very, very expensive theme park called Epic Universe being built by Universal. We've all been drooling over it the entire time. I've said this the last couple years. I think it's going to be the best theme park in the world when it opens, based on what I've just concept art and things.
Okay.
I know my expectations are very high,
They
but
are.
like that's just where I'm at. I think it's going to be awesome. But you have been able to attend twice with team member, family.
Like I said, my partner works at Epic. So I was able to experience the park for for like their testing as family preview.
Yep.
They've
been doing them like a month now.
Well, they were doing team member only.
Team member only.
And this last week started team members family and like specifically family.
Yes.
And some people have invited like influencers, and there's been a lot of drama with that. So I'm not gonna go into too much detail because number one, media day hasn't happened yet.
Yep.
Not everything has been released to the public.
Yep.
We were specifically asked and told not to take photos. We were allowed to share the photos. We were told we were allowed to share the professional photos, and we were allowed to talk about our experience. Like they want the word out there.
Yes.
But I'm going to try to be respectful.
100%.
Of all of that, and I also don't want to spoil anything.
Sure.
So okay, let's get into it.
Yeah.
That was my little disclaimer.
I'm excited.
I'm trying to be as diplomatic about this.
I probably had like 5 or 6 friends go now, and like it's just been killing me.
So my first thing I'm going to say is I love the park.
Yeah.
With that being said, the park is not finished. Mm-hmm. When I went, they still had more than 2 months till opening day. Right. I think now we're at 2 months.
Yeah, it's May 22nd.
Is it 22nd?
Yeah, because I have second day ticket 23rd.
Okay. So we are within 2 months now, and there's still work to be done.
Yep.
I'm not going to go into any details about where my partner works or what he does.
No, absolutely not.
But when I cried. When I saw where he had been, I cried.
That's
cool. Because I was finally able to put a face. I also, besides him, have a lot of friends who are both in operations, creative, techs, maintenance people. I have friends in most line of businesses, especially any business that has to do with operations, who have been involved in this project for a while. So when I first saw the Kronos, which is the park icon when you enter, I got a little weepy. And then when I saw where my partner had been working, I like actually cried. Because I have actually myself worked on projects in other locations. So it was really neat to see what he worked on, especially because I had been doing it I've done a few.
Well, and when it's like
a new park.
The biggest theme park that's opened in a long time in the world.
I've been on the project teams for like new areas, transportation systems, new rides. Like I've done. You've
done some cool stuff.
I did. I've got to go to the Mach factory in Germany. That was fun.
Yep.
I've made a lot of cool connections, a lot of cool experiences. But I don't want to talk about my work life on here. So we're going to talk about somebody else's. We're not going to do that. So we're going to talk about somebody else's.
Because he's not here to stop us.
No, he's not. You don't even know his name. It's fine. So I have ridden all but 3 rides at Epic Universe. Ministry of Magic is not ready for guests, so I did not do that. I did not do the mock splash battle in Isle of Berk, which is the How to Train Your Dragon area, and I have not done the flat ride in How to Train Your Dragon. But I have done every other ride in the park. Okay. And I've had multiple food items.
And the flat ride's the Gerstlauer.
Yeah, the flat ride's the Gerstlauer. And I did the live show in Harry Potter, the live stage show, but I haven't done the one in Dragon.
I've heard the Dragon one.
I've heard the Dragon one's cool.
Incredible.
I am very surprised that things about the Potter show have not made it online
I've not heard one thing about the Potter show.
And I won't say a thing. I'm not a Harry Potter fan.
Nor am I.
This show is friggin' awesome.
Okay.
And I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay.
I do think the Potter area is gorgeous. I think all the lands are beautiful.
Oh, isn't it like the circus?
The show? Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Cirque Arcanu.
Okay.
And the land is Paris.
Yep.
Because it's Fantastic Beasts. I mean, this is all public knowledge.
Right.
This has all been released. It's Fantastic Beasts, but the ride is present day Ministry of Magic. But it'll make sense. I'm not going to ruin anything, but it'll make sense. The queue is gorgeous.
Yeah.
They have the queue available. It is...
I've heard the queue for Potter is...
anything you've seen online is correct.
Yeah.
Well, anything you've seen released to the public, let me phrase that. Because there have been concept art and pictures they've shown. Mm-hmm. That is how it looks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I've heard it's stunning.
The park is beautiful. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this statement. My one friend says Universal built a Disney park.
Oh, okay.
And that every land is Fantasia Land. That is the way that he described it. I did not say that.
a friend told me, because he's gone twice, and he said he thinks this is the first European park
I felt the same
in
way.
America. He compares it to like Phantasialand and Europa.
My first
places
thought
like that.
in Celestial Park
Yep.
was I feel like I'm at a European theme park.
It's exactly what he told me. He said this is going to blow people away.
Actually, personally, and I will say it was 50 degrees and wind and cold and like windy when I was there the first time, so it was comfortable. There's not a lot of shade, but that could change. We're still 2 months away.
I heard that months ago from a guy that was working on, like, he does landscaping, and he's like, the lines are going to be hot. That's what he told me.
I think there's going to be, like I said, the park still doesn't open for 2 months, so I can't really give a fair review of those sort of things. But I will say that Celestial Park is my favorite area of the entire place.
Okay.
I don't actually know what's been released about it. I think everything's kind of been talked about.
Yeah.
It's like turn of the century Coney Island meets Jules Verne.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's a good description.
And I was all about it.
Definitely Jules Verne.
I was all about it.
Yeah.
All about it.
Okay.
I know you probably want to know about Stardust Racers. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good. It's pretty great. I loved it. Yep, it's a great ride.
Yeah.
It is a great coaster. It's
online has been pretty rave reviews for it.
I will say I rode Velocicoaster the day before, and I thought Velocicoaster was more intense.
Oh, okay.
But this has more airtime.
Okay.
My non-coaster enthusiast friend who works there said that he describes it as if Mako and Velocicoaster are one coaster. Ooh. And I was like, that's an interesting way to put it.
I won't hate that.
No, there's nothing to hate. It's a great ride. And it's a people eater. It runs 8 trains.
Yeah.
4 on each side.
And I'm just glad, like, and you're a mock fan too.
I am a mock fan.
I'm so happy more.
I'm so happy
more mocks.
I also have a very personal relationship with mock.
Right. But I love.
Well, there are 2 mock coasters
when I went
there.
to. Right.
Yeah,
I'm just saying. I'm glad
there's
there's more the last few years coming over because like Time Traveler was like such a big deal.
Yeah.
Because you just don't hear mock very often.
No.
And now it's
we
like,
need more extreme spinners though.
This is gonna start.
And then
hopefully waking people up.
I really do enjoy the Monsters Unchained ride. I don't know what's been released about that.
Not much.
Okay, so I'm not going to say anything.
There's been pictures of the animatronics, and that's about it.
I've ridden
it 4
times.
That was all official.
I will say one of the times I rode it, I broke down, and I got stuck in it for 15 minutes.
Oh.
And then got to ride through half the ride with the lights on, and that was friggin' awesome.
And no one breaks rides down more than this guy.
Our podcast.
Just so you know. Yeah, it's...
I also broke down on Curse of the Werewolf. But you know what? They're growing pains. We're still in testing. That's why we're there.
Yeah.
I really liked Donkey Kong.
Okay.
It's clunky.
I've heard that.
I was warned that it's very rough and it is not smooth.
Yeah.
It's weird. It feels unnatural, but it's fun.
It looks so strange. Like some of the POVs and stuff when it's going up the lift hill.
It's weird.
And you're like, where's the track and the chain?
It's neat.
And it is such a cool visual.
I will suggest to anybody, because it is a lower capacity ride.
Yeah.
And it has a lot of downtime. I rode it once after 5 attempts to ride it.
Oh, my.
Well, I attempted to ride it 5 times. I got on it once. Rope drop it. Go there first. Go to Donkey Kong.
Because it only holds 4 people per car.
It is a continuous load.
Right.
So that's nice.
It's still.
They did their best. They did what they could with that.
That's an in-house.
No, Setpoint made it.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it's Setpoint.
I was looking at RCDB and it didn't have a.
Interesting.
They didn't have a manufacturer.
That's Setpoint.
Okay.
The carousel is really cool. So my friends try. I know there's been nothing public, so I'm not going to say anything. It is not a normal carousel.
Yeah.
But I don't expect a thrill ride.
Yeah, they haven't said anything about it still.
It's neat. It's gorgeous.
I have a friend that worked on it.
Okay.
He worked with the company in Indiana, moved down here to install it, and now he just got hired as an Imagineer
good for him.
Disney. But yeah, so I've known about this carousel.
Yeah, the carousel is wicked. I enjoy it.
Have to keep that quiet all the time because I've known about it for like over a year.
Well, I wrote it, so
I heard it's cool.
I know what you know.
Yep. We'll talk offline here.
How to Train Your Dragon, Hiccup.
Oh, the meet and greet.
No, the coaster, Hiccup's from the Gliders.
Okay.
It's like a family version of Hagrid's. It's very swoopy. Very cute, adorable, fun family coaster.
The drone footage I've seen of it looks faster than I expected.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah. That area
is cool.
I've never seen any of the movies.
That area really feels like a European theme park. Because like every European park has a Viking area. So now we have a Viking area. And I'm like, am I at Park of Streaks?
Yeah. I need
it's
to
very
watch.
Park of Streaks feeling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
I
in a good way.
I like that part. Yeah, the good parts of
the good parts of Park of Streaks. I actually like Park of Streaks.
I had a great time there.
Me too.
Yeah, I've always heard such terrible
efficient.
things, and I thought it was awesome.
I waited a full queue for almost every coaster, and it would just never stop moving.
Yeah.
They were just cranking them out.
We were there the year the Montu.
Osiris?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, or maybe a year after it. And I was like, this park's awesome.
I love it. Osiris was the newest thing when I was there, too.
Yeah. And now they've added like 2 other good rides.
2 Tatis?
Yeah. So it's like, I want to get
I
back
did not
there.
enjoy my 90-minute wait for Tonnerre de Zeus.
No.
When the couple in front of us smoked 9 cigarettes each.
Oh, that's
We
rants.
counted.
And then, of course, Godreau.
Oh, Goodreeks?
Goodreeks, whatever it is.
I wrote it twice.
Oh, my God.
I like it. It was comically terrible.
Such a beautiful coaster. And
I'm trying to think of what else I could say about Epic. There's going to be some growing pains, but I think that's just to be expected.
Sure.
I think Universal is a hit.
Had you done Nintendo?
I had done Nintendo.
Okay.
I had done Nintendo in Hollywood. I'm going to be honest, I didn't care for Mario Kart.
Okay.
And then I wrote it here, and I liked it better. And I don't remember if that's because I didn't care for it before.
Oh. Lower expectations.
Yeah. Yoshi exists.
Yeah.
The land is cool.
Yeah.
All the lands are great. The park is beautiful. They really put their love into this project. I think they're going to have some growing pains. I think they're going to have to make some adjustments after the general public experiences it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are certain things I think that, I mean, like I said, the park's also not finished. So I could be wrong with certain things. So I don't really want to talk bad about it.
Yep.
Especially because I had a great time and the park is beautiful and I really want to go again.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend the other day and I was like, man, I wish I could get an annual pass.
I think they're going to do pass holder previews next month.
Yeah.
They're going to need as much practice as they can. So
yeah.
I have a lot of friends who are panic buying tickets and stressing out. I'm like, they need practice. They will get people.
They're going to do the annual pass holder.
But that's also, that in mind, that's kind of why I stopped making coaster videos also back then I had a camcorder. I had to upload everything. It was a lot harder to update,
a lot more difficult than it is now.
A lot more difficult, a lot more time consuming. And I just felt like a chore.
Yeah.
And I was like, and monetization wasn't even an idea.
Right. Sure.
So it was for me.
Yeah.
And
it was a hobby. You liked it.
I loved it.
Yeah.
But then I started working full time and going to school still, and it was just.
And I will say there is that thing with doing the content where there's times that you love the parks and you love the rides, and then sometimes you're doing content and it's like it feels weird.
Yeah.
Kind of what you're saying. It's hard to describe, but it's just it's more work than love sometimes.
And I love taking photos of everything.
Right. And that's the thing on vacations. I took
I go
my
to
DSLR,
parks, even here.
I took hundreds of pictures.
I use my phone.
And
but when I'm here, I love taking photos of everything that's new, and it's just for me.
Right.
I've always loved taking photos. Even as a kid, I always had rolls of film.
I look through all my old trips.
Me too.
People always say "Wait, are you never going to look at those?" And I always look at my old trips when I get thinking about stuff. I love it.
I have so many photo albums on my Facebook. Yeah. And my friends because I've had the same core group of friends in Florida for almost 15 years. And they used to give me grief because I'm like, everybody, group photo, ugh, why? And now they're like, oh my God, look how young we were. Remember this?
That's the thing.
And I'm like,
I think part of it was I just never had a lot of pictures growing up or whatever. And then, and now I just start taking them more.
I love taking photos. Honestly, I treat everything like a trip report.
Yeah.
It never broke out of the trip report.
And one thing I do like about doing vlogs when I travel now is that's pretty awesome because because like I'll go through, I edit it, you know,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
and it's like to have this nice like 40-minute video
Memory.
of my day, like that's pretty
You know
cool.
what's funny?
You know?
I every once in a while like I'll do a trip and go, do you want to film this? And it's just for me. I'm not
Right.
trying to be a content creator. When I did my big Europe trip in 2021, where we did 17 days, I decided I was going to do like an old school style video like I used to make for Northeast Coasters. And I did. I made one from the Euro trip, and I put A-Teens halfway around the world over it. So like Euro pop from the 90s, 2000, from the like early 2000s, late 90s. And I put it on, and I edited it on the plane. So I could just do it all on my phone. I was like, this is so much easier than it used to.
See, and I still can't. I hate editing on my phone.
But
I'm a computer guy.
I uploaded it onto Facebook, my Instagram, and YouTube just to have it there. YouTube, because of the way the algorithm works now, I didn't really get a lot of views, and that's okay.
YouTube's tough.
Back in the day, it was so different.
Oh yeah.
Because
there was no coaster content.
I was the only one. Yeah. One of the only ones, not the only one.
Like Theme Park Review was.
I was
like
on YouTube before
the
Theme Park Review was.
godfather of it. Oh wow.
Because they came to YouTube a little later.
Yeah, he used to do the DVDs.
Yeah.
That's right.
I
forgot about all that.
Yeah. I forgot about that too. But with that video, my Facebook, all my friends, and a lot of my friends on Facebook were the coaster people from back then. They're like, oh my God, what a time capsule. And I still will go back and watch it. It just makes me like feel warm and fuzzy inside.
Well, and like you get the Facebook memories, you know, so it's like I get to relive that stuff.
So like,
I love it.
I don't really, because I have my personal Instagram, which is private, and then my El Toro Ryan's dad Instagram, but it's mostly just stories. And every once in a while, when I'll do a trip, I'll post photos. And then my Facebook, which is also private. I have all of my photo albums for all my trips.
Yeah, I've got.
I kind of need them to make sub-albums so I can just put categories of years.
Yeah, it's because it's tough for me to find things sometimes.
But it's like, also great because I even have albums for like Walt Disney World 2025, Universal 2025.
That's funny.
So
and you're local and like
because I'm always there.
Yeah.
So whenever like I need a photo of something or I'm talking about something, I always know where to get it. Like, hold up, I got receipts.
Yep. Well, I'm doing more like produced videos and stuff.
Yeah.
And now I actually have like enough stock and B-roll of like every ride where I don't always have to go out and film now.
Smart.
Just I didn't organize it very well, so that's the problem. When you have thousands and thousands of clips.
I mean, what's great is like I can look at photos. Like my friends and I, when Dueling Dragons closed, we were there from park open to park close. Actually, that was a cool story. Sidebar.
Man,
I was on the third to last ever train on Dragons, and Orlando didn't really have the vlogger culture it has now.
Right.
There was a couple of vloggers there for Dragons closing day. What those vlogs don't show you is the park went down for weather before the park closed for the day. The park closed at 7. Dragons went down for weather at like 6:15. Or maybe a little later. We were loaded onto the train on ice, or Hungarian horntail. And they took us off the train because the park went down for weather.
I refuse to acknowledge the Harry Potter era.
So we got taken off the train and we're waiting back in the gates because we were like, oh, we got to get on ice now so we can close out on fire because we were going to wait for it to be on the last train on fire. The park closed. The ride was still down for weather. And they came over the speaker saying, we don't want to end like this. We're going to try to keep you guys here for as long as we can. And we'll see what happens.
That's cool.
And I went back and watched, I think it was like Midway Mayhem and Tim Tracker, I think were the only two who covered it.
Okay.
And they were like, oh, that's the end of Dragons. Because they did like a little closing ceremony out front. Some of the old team members did like a little speech. And then everybody was like, okay, well, this is how Dragons end. Bye, Dragons. Bye. They didn't know because no one knew because our stuff was all in lockers.
Right.
We were still in the station. The park closed at 7. And I rode Dueling Dragons at 8:30 p.m.
Oh, man.
They kept us there until the weather cleared. And they're like, okay, we're open. And I was like, not waiting for the last one. I'm getting on now.
It's so interesting to me that, like, team members and cast members, like, have, like, such... I mean, I get it. You have such an emotional tie to a ride where, like, they didn't want to close down, like that. They'd rather stay late.
Well, it was the
And
last
just because
day.
they love
wanna...
that ride, and they're like, we're not just going to shut down because of weather. We want an official last ride. Like, that's super cool. Like,
what was neat about Dragons. So, like, I didn't work at Dragons, but my roommates did, and my ex-boyfriend was actually opening team of Dragons. Everyone who had ever worked at Dragons was there that day. We ran into so many friends, and people that were used to work at Dragons were just picking up shifts to help.
Yeah.
They actually put on a fifth and sixth train. Wow. They were running 3 trains on both sides. They had 4 loaders. They were just doing like whatever. And I had friends who still worked there, and they gave us the password. So Universal, I don't know if they still do it, but back then they used to do a password to go through the express line. Oh. So the weeks leading up to the closure, every single day was a different closed ride. So I remember one day the password was Alfred Hitchcock. Okay. That was like my second to last time going. On the last day, my friend Devin, who closed Dragons and opened Hagrid's, she said the password is, I'm like, what's the password today? And she just looked at me and went, it's Dueling Dragons. Oh. And halfway through the day, it leaked online. Oh. So they changed it, and she found me. She goes, hey, we changed the password because I got online. It's now The Last Splash. Because that was the advertisement for Wet n Wild when Universal was closing it. Oh, wow. So we're like, The Last Splash. And that was I forget about Wet n Wild. Yeah, that was the password for Dueling Dragons on its closing day.
When did Wet n Wild close?
Same year. Oh, really? No, the year before, 2016. Okay.
Because that's where, like...
I think 2016? I went to Wet n Wild a couple times.
Isn't that where Cabana Bay and Volcano
are? It's where Endless Summer and Surfside is.
Endless Summer, yeah. That's right.
I liked Wet n Wild. Wet n Wild was great.
We went there when I was a kid, and it was awesome.
Their
Rapids ride.
Oh, yeah.
That was such an 80s thing, and you never see those. Oh. I love those inner tube, like River Country had one. Like, oh, man, I love that
Wet n Wild used to host Tidal Wave, which was part of Gay Days in Orlando. Okay. So it was a private buyout for all the bears. And I used to go every year to Tidal Wave. It was great.
I'm shocked to hear that.
Shocking, I know. So what was great about Tidal Wave on this family podcast was they get a bunch of, for those who don't know what bears are, me, big, hairy, burly gay men. Yep. And at Tidal Wave, it was great because big guys are not climbing all those stairs to ride the water slides. So there were no lines. So I would just do laps around the park with my boyfriend riding the water slides and then hanging out with our friends in the tidal and the wave pool on the lazy river and then whatever else was happening in the water.
It's so funny that...
And then we would ditch to ride the slides again.
When I was bigger, I hated water parks because climbing the steps to ride things, you'd be so exhausted.
Do you remember Bombay under Stuka? Mm-hmm. And how it was a spiral ramp?
Oh, yeah.
That was worse than not having stairs. It was awful.
It was the spiral.
It was the spiral ramp of death. It just spiraled all the way up.
Because they put the pretzel one in like the year we went, and like Der Snuka was right above it, and like I remember walking up that, and it was like, oh, I did love that park though.
It was fun. And then Volcano Bay killed it. I actually liked Wet n Wild more than Volcano Bay.
I like Volcano.
I love Volcano Bay as a park, but the slides are better at Wet n Wild.
I will give you that.
Yeah.
But the water coaster.
I'm sorry, Disco H2O.
That was after I went because it was Black Hole. Oh no, Disco H2O was way later.
Disco H2O was the Behemoth Bowl.
Yep. Yeah, the bowls weren't around then.
And it had a disco ball in there. They played disco music with all the lights. It was fun. Wet n Wild was fun.
See, I love Volcano Bay.
You know what you can see from Wet n Wild?
River.
Epic Universe is being built. So I remember when Universal purchased that land, that was probably like 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
And the rumors were swirling that Universal purchased its land to build a new park, and everybody was like, why?
Right.
How are you getting there? And there was all these rumors that Universal owned the land that Universal Boulevard was on. Yep. So there was talks about them building like a rail system or a monorail or a Doppelmayr ropeway like Disney has for the Skyliner. None of that happened. But they did build a theme park.
They did.
And it's pretty epic.
Yeah. Well, I'm
so excited for you.
I'm excited, and I'm sure we'll talk.
I want everyone to experience this park because I love it.
That's awesome to hear, and like I said, I think 5 or 6 people I know have gone, and they're not. I don't think any of them are actual team members.
Ah.
Well, the one guy is. He does like HHN.
Okay.
So he's like a
seasonal.
Yes. So he got to go because of that. But everyone else has been like a family member, and they're all very honest, like about this stuff. Like
I said, there's a lot of things.
But they're all raving, like it.
Like we encountered on last week. My first day, I went twice. My first day, I only rode 4 different rides.
Mm-hmm.
One of those rides was 3 rides on Stardust Racers, so it's okay. But we just encountered a lot of downtimes throughout the day. But it's still testing, still commissioning. Like we were like, yeah, that's why we're here. We're here to be the guinea pigs. And then same thing when I went the second time. I did everything I missed. And then the last hour and a half I was there, everything that was like worth redoing was down, and like everything else was like a very long line for rides I didn't care to ride. But what's cool, and I don't know if you'll get to enjoy this as much. The food is 50% off.
Oh, okay.
So my friend, we were there.
Yeah, we have a lunch thing.
Yeah, we were there the second day. And we're like, well, let's just try different foods. Mm-hmm. So we're just trying different foods around the park. And just like popping into gift shops and restaurants to see how everything looked.
I heard the merch is nice.
Yeah.
Because I've been to the City Walk store.
So
but my friend told me he's like the in-park
merchandise
stuff is better.
The merchandise is great for non-ride specific stuff.
Okay. Yeah, it's all land.
It's all land. It's all like character based.
Yep.
There's no Celestial Park merchandise.
Oh, that's the story.
And I want a Stardust shirt.
Even in the park?
No. I mean, we still got 2 months till it opens.
Yeah, they have to.
Celestial Park's not even finished.
True.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's still 2 months out.
Yeah.
And like.
The park's not open.
It's hard to.
Can't really judge it.
It's a free preview,
My only thing I'm going to say is I'm worried about their parking situation.
I've heard that.
When you pull up, it looks like a parking lot tram should be in the middle, and it is an uncovered walkway. Yeah. There's no tram. You're walking.
Yeah, because it's just a flat lot, right?
Yep.
Oh boy.
So I'm curious to see what they do with that.
No tram.
Because at first I was like,
it's gotta be a pretty decent sized parking lot.
My first time, the first day I was like, oh, that's where the parking lot tram is going to go. And then when I went the second time and I had to walk it, I went, oh, this is not wide enough for a parking lot tram.
Okay. I mean, I usually don't take trams anyway.
No, I usually walk too, but I don't know how the general public's going to handle it.
Weird for other people, yeah.
And also the one way in, one way out.
If I go to Magic Kingdom for rope drops some days, they don't run the tram in the morning early, and that really bothers me for other people.
And the one way in, one way out of all the portals is going to be... I think the guest flow isn't going to be as good. But their idea is they want people to spend time in Celestial. Mm-hmm. Apparently, they want to treat Celestial Park like it's City Walk.
Okay.
And have it open later than the rest of the park, which does that include Stardust? I don't know. I hope it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, I love Stardust Racers. I need more of it. I also love Monsters Unchained.
Yeah.
That's a cool ride.
Those are the two I'm most excited about. I've heard, Ministry's supposed to be amazing, but like you said, neither of us are really Potter fans. I'm much more into the monsters.
Yeah. Ministry,
but I mean, if Potter's awesome,
from what
it's gonna be awesome.
I've heard about Ministry of Magic, is it's
pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah. It's pretty great.
Yeah. Yeah, we both have enough connections where we've heard about that ride.
Yeah, I think I said more than I was going to actually say about my Toad Epic, without spoiling too much.
Spoil anything.
Yeah. Like I said, I want to respect, the park. I don't want to spoil anything. I'm very, 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 very grateful for the opportunity to be able to go.
Yes.
Especially because I really had no business being there.
Yeah.
As someone who does not work for Universal.
Yeah.
Just as a family member. So yeah, I'm very grateful for the opportunity.
I'm going to have some imposter syndrome on Sunday.
See, I did it.
I will feel weird probably, but
yeah. So
I'll tell you later some of the people that are in the group. So I'll probably be feeling weirder, but I don't know.
Oh man.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's for off-camera time.
That is off-camera time. But yeah. So. All right.
Alrighty.
That's epic.
That was pretty epic, yeah.
And I think our 9 hours of talking is.
Well, that's it.
Yeah, I think we've probably covered just about everything that we can talk about on here.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we got into bears. We got
into the bears. We talked about Great Adventure a lot. I mean, there's so many other parks I've been to. We didn't even touch England or Mexico. No. I rode the Schwarzkopf dryer looping when I was at La Feria. I actually rode Chimera the year it killed people.
Oh.
Yeah. And when I went to Indiana Beach to go ride it, it never opened. But I had already ridden it in Mexico, so it's okay.
Yeah, the only time I've been to Indiana Beach, that ride was sitting there.
I actually love Indiana Beach.
It was really cool.
It's fun.
I wish I would have had some more time there.
It's a weird place, but I like it.
It reminds me of if you took Gronalund and like Knoebels.
And throw in a splash of Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk and you got Indiana Beach.
Yes. It's the weirdest American park I've been to. There's nothing quite like it because you're on the lake. Knoebels. It's kind of a boardwalk. But it's like a 2-story boardwalk.
The Midwest Riviera.
It's like...
They're above ground lazy river.
It's so...
out on a pier.
Yes, I forgot about that
weird.
thing.
And then you can take the boat out to the lake.
Yep.
The Lady Schaefer.
Yeah. And then, I mean... It's just a cool little park.
It's a fun park, and they have a Schwarzkopf Jetstar.
In the middle of nowhere. And where did I go before that to make it even more of a out-of-the-way trip? Michigan's Adventure.
I mean, I've done Great America with both of those parks.
Well, we did Great America, then we did Michigan's Adventure, and then we did Indiana Beach.
That makes sense to me, though.
Right,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, if you're going to do... Yeah. And then we did Cedar Point.
Did you do the Wisconsin Dells?
I've been there enough.
Okay. I love Hades 360.
Okay.
I haven't ridden it in 7 years.
I grew up like 90 minutes from
I haven't ridden Hades
Wisconsin Dells.
360 since before COVID.
I rode it the year it opened, and I didn't want to ride it a second time during ERT.
That's how I felt about Mindblower.
Rob had to come get people to ride it.
I heard about that.
Because it was so bad.
Rob coaxed me into doing a film shoot for Theme Park Review on Mindblower because I lived next door. And he was like, hey, do you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, I don't start work till 2. I'll come.
I like Mindblower.
Spineblower can be good if it's not turning. It's actually worse, I think, now with the RMC track. The drop.
The turns are rough.
It's weird.
Yeah. I rode it a couple weeks ago. I hadn't been on it for a while.
I haven't ridden it since...
It was intense, but I didn't think it was rough.
I rode it one time right after the RMC track was installed.
Oh, okay.
But I also rode it on its opening day, and it only lasted 2 or 3 days before closing for a week and a half.
That thing was...
It was bad.
Yeah.
I've had good rides. I've had bad rides. Mindblower is the most polarizing.
Yeah. Well, and then I'd never done the Spinner or the Galaxy or whatever that is. That the Kissimmee one. So I rode those.
On the back?
Yeah, I rode those.
I rode that at Wild Adventures.
That was actually pretty fun.
It runs better in Kissimmee. It was horrible at Wild Adventures.
Yeah, I thought it was really good. Yeah, honestly. Like, that's when I got off and the ride op the park was empty, and like the ride op was a young guy. He's like, how was it? And I was like, it's actually pretty good. And he goes, yeah, I haven't done it. And I'm like, you work on the ride and you haven't done it? I'm like, like roller coasters? Like, no, I ride mine. He goes, rides Mindblower all the time. I'm like, and you've never ridden on the ride you work on?
People are weird, man.
So weird, but yeah, I liked it.
I worked with someone at Big Thunder when I was like 19 years old. And a guest asked her how to get to It's a Small World, and she looked him dead in the face and said, I don't know what that is. And I'm like, do you not know what that is? And she looked at me and she goes, I've never been here. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, I've worked here, but I've never been to the park. I'm like, you can, at the time, I was like, you can just like, after your shift, just change your clothes and walk around. Go do the park. Learn it.
What?
She had never been to the park as a guest.
That's crazy to me.
And I've experienced that many times. Crazy.
Because in my head, just being the theme park nerd that grew up in Iowa, I feel like anyone working at a park in Orlando dreamed of like coming here and working at a park and moving their way up, And then like you just have the people who are like, no, I just started working here because I live in the area. And
I know, she was on the college program from Texas.
That's crazy.
I was like, come on your day
How do you do the college program and don't care? That's crazy.
She was a sweet girl. Her name was Sherry. We're up in her.
She's probably listening to this right now.
I don't think she is.
Probably not.
I don't think she remembers who I am. I also don't look like how I did 16 years ago.
That's true. Not many of us do.
No. That's okay. That's a good thing.
Yeah, good for me. That was probably my fattest back then, so.
Opposite. But
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
want to
you
look like
know.
a teenager.
Yeah. No, you're more of the bear lifestyle anyway, so.
Anyway, that concludes our show.
Yes. All right. That is going to do it. Thanks for listening if you're still
Alive.
here listening to this. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This has
Great
been a lot
to
of fun.
hang out.
It's been great catching up.
We don't hang out very often,
No.
so this is good. But
We also talked for hours before recording.
yeah, we talked about 2 hours before we turned this on.
Yeah, I think I've been
so-
here for 6 hours now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just about.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. This is Coasting with Giants. Thad the Theme Park Giant.
Dainan, formerly Northeast Coasters, now Tor Orion's dad.
All right. And with that, make sure you get out there and have a giant day of fun. We'll see you next time.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Coasting with Giants with Thad the Theme Park Giant. For more coaster and theme park content, make sure you're following me at Theme Park Giant on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram.